Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here and welcome to another video. Today we are going to be talking about the left back Gareth Bale card and whether or not it is worth picking up. In my honest opinion, guys, I think that Gareth Bale is absolutely fantastic in this game. We're actually going to go ahead and pull up his stats here. So we're going to search up Gareth Bale's card because when I was using him in the team, guys, I'm telling you, having him as a left back is like the perfect combo of everything that you need, right? So his agility and balance may not be great because, you know, as you guys know, Gareth Bale in real life is more of this sluggish type of dribbler, right? So that's why they don't make his agility and balance that great. But this card defensively is an absolute animal, right? He has 4-star skill moves. He's got the pace. He's got the physical. He's got the. He actually has defensive stats nowadays, which is a very, very big deal. If you want to put this card as a left wing back in a left wing position, you can actually start that off like that with 7 chemistry. And if you want to move him off to the midfield, you can actually do that, which is incredible. You can even start with a 4-4-1-1, put him as a left mid on 7 chemistry, and still be able to use him as a left center mid. He's a very, very good card to use. It's really nice to have that pace there in the midfield when you're defending. 93 acceleration with 96 sprint speed. It's slowed down a little bit because of the agility and balance, but 6 foot tall, can head the ball with 88 jumping and 99 heading. Like, the card's fantastic. If you're using like a formation or tactics where you're using a player or you use your fullbacks to always overlap someone, he's going to be excuse me, incredibly ideal for you because he's going to have that pace and that physical presence to really outbody someone. So he's definitely up there in terms of potentially being the best left back you can possibly have in your team because he's just a physical monster in game. But we did end up getting a few other cards in this draft as well. I believe we ended up getting 2 other ones, if I'm not mistaken. We ended up getting the Ronaldo card, which pretty typical. We're going to review that as well, and the Di Maria card. So we're going to go ahead and look at Ronaldo's card stats right here, right now. And the thing that I always tell people, right, is that the only reason, right, that you would go ahead and pick up a Ronaldo card is because of passing increase, which you will barely notice, and the balance increase, which is barely noticeable. So really, the only reason why you're paying for the Ronaldo card is you're paying for his position, right? So if he's a right wing and you want to make like a Portuguese type hybrid and you want to put him on the right wing side to get that chemistry in your squad, you can do that now, right? But would I suggest using this card or buying this card? No, it's not really worth getting 2.1 million coins. It's not really worth it considering you can just get the regular card for 1.3 nowadays, right? And you can just put him on the left wing side because it's not really a big deal that you move a Ronaldo off to the right wing unless you're starting off the team a certain way before you actually get into the game. Like if you start off with a 4-3-3 and you want to use like Casemiro as a CDM, you can get full chemistry on Ronaldo now with Casemiro as a CDM on the right side rather than having to use him on the left side, right? So you can do that, but it seems incredibly pointless with a card like Ronaldo because you could just use his regular on the left. The only 2 things that you would be a significant difference on a Ronaldo card, again, is the passing, which isn't significantly increased from his rare gold card, and his balance, which again isn't significantly increased. So that's what I would say in terms of Ronaldo. Isn't worth the price, but it's a cool card to have. Obviously, if you get him, he'll be awesome to use. Di Maria, I would say pretty typical. Really cool that they actually gave him a cam card with very, very nice stats. 90 pace, 88 dribbling, 83 shooting, 84 passing. Now, this card would be significantly better if it was older FIFAs, right? Because the thing about this card is that 2-star weak foot will still affect you quite a bit. But he has very good agility and 95 agility with 81 balance, which is quite nice to have when you're 5'11", with 90 acceleration and 90 sprint speed. So when I had the ball at my feet with Di Maria, he was absolutely incredible to use. Very, very quick player, moves left and right really easily, but it's just, you know, when you cut inside and you want to do that driven finesse shot with his right foot, he isn't very good at doing that. So you have to be very careful when you're using a card like Di Maria because that right foot will always get to you in certain situations, right? You always put yourself in a situation where you want to do your best to score the goals, right? So with a player like Di Maria, his weak foot will always be a problem, right? So now, guys, we're going to end up doing some questions that you guys usually ask me during the comment section. And I need to look for this one comment that is incredibly long, and I always miss out on this one. So I gotta breathe in for this one, okay? I'm gonna keep on asking, so I have to try this a 5th time. Sorry, dude. Here we go. I understand that you have a lot of questions to answer, so I'll try to ask it again. Hey man, I love your YouTube channel. You're doing a great job, but I have a few questions for you because no one seems to know or don't give me the answer to. I've actually given you the answer to this question in, I think it was 3 or 4 videos ago. I actually remember that one. So when you asked me consistently, I've already answered this question a couple of videos ago, but I will answer it again. No one sees or maybe it's a secret, I don't know. But how do people defend like a heat-seeking rocket that comes to you and then take the ball so easy in FIFA? That's pretty typical. That's just like pressure and aggression, man. Like pressure and aggression, if you raise it up and you're confident in your defending, when you use pressure and aggression that high up, it's easier for the people to put that high pressure on you and get the ball back easily. Now, that goes both ways, right? Because if they use high pressure and they use high aggression, that also means that you can attack aggressively because they're trying to attack you aggressively or defensively. So you can use that to exploit the space a little bit better, right? That's what I would say to that. Many people, if they played bad, can stick to my players like glue when they are defending. It doesn't matter if I turn left or right. They just follow and stick to me. So in no way it's manual making a good choice every time. Also, if I press L2 on PlayStation 4 to protect the ball, people come from behind and put their legs through my players to get the ball. If I want to do, if I want to, it's not that I suck at FIFA because the last 2 years. The only thing we know, could how. Hope you can tell me how. Yeah, dude. With the defense, it's just shielding a lot, but like you can't always shield because the guy will just get the ball off your player through the legs, right? So you have to be very, very careful with that. Like some people just like the way that the players get the ball back when you're trying to defend against a person by holding a trigger when you're receiving a ball, right? Is that they'll just kind of like stick their leg through your legs and then kick the ball away, but that's your responsibility to shield and then dribble instantly to a direction where they can't do that. Because if you keep shielding, a player like Rio Ferdinand or Laurent Blanc or any good center back like Eric Bailly will be able to reach around. And get a ball like that. So that's what I would say to that, man. Let's see what else we got here. Is Foot Birthday Koyate good, or should I spend the extra coins and get Ramos? So I answered the Koyate question in the last video, and I don't think for me personally he would be that good. And I'm actually gonna go pull up his stats right now and see why I didn't like him again. There you go. So it's the lack of agility and balance again, he's okay. So these types of cards, when you notice that the agility and balance is low, you have to try them out. But it's not like you have to. Like I know for a fact that when I try this card, I'm not going to like it because stats are very noticeable in FIFA nowadays, right? So something like 58 balance and 65 agility will be incredibly noticeable because he is 6'2", right? But he does have a lot of potential to be a good center back because he's got high stamina, good aggression with decent defensive stats. His acceleration and sprint speed is good, so it can save his agility and balance a little bit. But I wouldn't bank on him being an incredible center back for you. I would say he might be decent. He's not really like FIFA 3-4 years ago, right? Like the stats are very noticeable nowadays. You know, the marking being 72 is gonna be noticeable. The sliding tackle is gonna be noticeable at 77 because when sliding tackles and standing tackles are bigger, you actually notice those specific stats because in the game, the defensive AI is incredibly overpowered. So those types of stats, when they're higher, are more noticeable to have in a team. So that's what I would say to that. Hey bro, if you had 600k on untradeable prime Rio Ferdinand, what team would you make? Hope you can help. Love the vids. Dude, I don't really do like what you should use in your squad for just like one player. People are going to tell you like the typical like buy Valencia, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to give that to you, man. There's so many meta squads out there that you can try out, dudes. It's like the comment that the guy responds to you with De Gea, Valencia, Bailly, Ferdinand, Sandro, Conte, Bakayoko, Matuidi, Ben Yedder, Griezmann, Lacazette. That's an interesting one. That's a team that you can have fun with too. So just use whatever you want, man. With prime Rio Ferdinand, you can put him in any squad because he's just going to be an absolute god in it. So it's up to you, dude. Crespo with engine chem is a GOAT. 99 acceleration, 92 composure, 94 finishing, 95 agility, 95 balance, 99 dribbling, 92 heading accuracy, and his short pass will be 82, which is good for its striker. Are you saying that with a stat boost? Because if you're saying that with a stat boost, a card is never upgraded by as much as these websites say that they are. And I know this for a straight fact because there's been a lot of times where I've tried to change the... Yeah, so you are adding it with the engine card or whatever. It doesn't add by that much, dude. Is he going to play good in game? Still, yes, but he's going to feel very similar to his base card stats with slight improvements to whatever chemistry style you add to it. But it most certainly is not added by 10s and 15s like it tells you in this game. Because if you give him an engine card, like, there would be nothing wrong with this card. This card would be perfect, right? The card would literally be amazing to use. 82 short passing with 62 long passing would be great. Or 62 long passing wouldn't be that great, but, you know, he would still be an incredible card to use, right? Because his dribbling would be good. He's still going to feel very similar to his base. It's not upgraded by the 10s and 5s like it is in, like they show you. Yeah, I do think upgrades are added, but not by that much. I don't think EA are that transparent with us when it comes to the stat upgrades, in my opinion. So, yeah. How much are work rates impacting players? Work rates impact a player a lot, like a shit ton, right? Because when you use players that are high medium, it's incredibly noticeable that they're high medium. And the thing with FIFA nowadays, right, is that when people say that, hey, if I use this player on stay back while attacking, he will actually do that more often than not, is true. Because nowadays in FIFA, they will follow the instructions a little bit more. But they will still heavily play to the work rates that they're assigned, right? So the other day I was using a team of the group stage Florenzi, and when I was using the Florenzi card, you can notice that he's the type of card that is going to attack a lot, right? Even when you use him as a fullback, it's like a trait that a player has, like a characteristic that they have, right? Where they just attack a lot. Like when you use Florenzi, a regular Florenzi, as a right back in your Roma team, you'll notice that he pushes up quite a lot as well, right? He pushes up, he tries to attack because he has all-round good stats, and that's what the player card is meant to do, right? It's the same thing with other cards as well. Pogba, high medium, I'm not a fan of because he doesn't have enough pace to make up for that work rates to push back, and the defensive stats to push back and do well in that area. You know, medium high, very, very noticeable on CDMs, man. It's so, so important. Like when I put Conte as a CDM instead of Bakayoko, it made me truly realize, because with Conte, the height can be a problem. But if your gameplay feels responsive, Conte is amazing in this game, because having a CDM who's actually a pure medium high, because Laurent Blanc is a medium high work rated player, but he's not meant to be played as a CDM. You can tell when you're using the player that they're meant to be played as a cam, right? But with Conte, it feels like he's meant to be added as a CDM. So when you're using him in the game, you can actually tell he's a solid player there. Because Bakayoko is good too, but he doesn't have that agility and balance and acceleration and sprint speed to move left and right really quickly, right? And you can do that with Conte with medium-high work rates. So I think a Team of the Year Conte would be definitely ideal to have in a team. I think it would be incredible. But yeah, dude, work rates are really, really huge in this game nowadays, especially with strikers. Like strikers, it'd be more ideal to have medium low, high medium, high low. When you have players that are high, it's a little bit more awkward. Like I've tried to use a Heung-min Son as a striker, as a lone striker, not in a 4-1-2-2, because in a 4-1-2-2, high work rates aren't too bad. But in a lone striker position where he's in a 4-2-3-1 bracket 2, right, where he's really isolated up there, he's still good. He still plays good, but he's just too isolated because the way he attacks and defends, it just doesn't feel right? That's for me personally. Everybody's different. Some people would actually like the high mediums as a striker, but for me personally, I'm just not a huge fan of it. How about Gelson Martins blatantly skipped? Oh, did I actually skip? Gelson Martins has a PTG card? This is for the video of the PTG cards. Oh, he does have a card. Wow. I didn't even realize he had a card. This card is incredibly irrelevant because he hasn't even gotten an inform yet, right? And for Portugal, I'm not really sure if he's going to play for Portugal over Quaresma, Bernardo Silva, and Ronaldo, right? Actually, I feel like he might. There's potential there for sure that he actually might play. The thing about Gelson Martins in this game, right? And this is the thing with a lot of players in the game. He's unusable because his shooting is so poor. If his passing was poor, that's one thing. But his shooting being 66 finishing is really, really bad. It's nice that he has the 5-star skill moves. The 3-star weak foot is another big downfall. But the thing about this card is that finishing is always going to affect you no matter what, right? So it's just an annoyance because on the ball, this guy is going to move incredibly. 95 acceleration with 94 sprint speed while also having 94 agility with 94 balance while also being 5'8" is very, very nice to have on a card. So he's definitely going to move around the pitch really quickly and very smoothly. But in terms of those finishing opportunities, which no matter what, if you're using a midfielder or a striker, they have to have good finishing because it's just so the thing about the finishing nowadays is that, like, with the recent patch of, like, the actual gameplay patch, they made the shooting worse. So because they made the shooting worse or less consistent, players like Gelson Martins are just going to miss so many opportunities because they just don't have enough finishing, right? So yeah. What do you think of birthday Sissoko? Looks decent, to be honest. Too low agility and balance. So let me check out Sissoko's birthday card because I haven't used this card yet, and I would be very interested in seeing how he would do. So the agility and balance being low. So this, I refer to this as a trying out type of card. Because the thing about this card, right, is that Sissoko is 6'2", medium with 72 agility and 61 balance. But if you look at Bakayoko's card, right, Bakayoko has 62 balance with 66 agility, but he has less acceleration and less sprint speed, but he has better defensive stats than Sissoko does, right? So in terms of whether or not Sissoko would be a better CDM than Bakayoko, there's a high chance that he could be because he has better defensive stats and he already has very good physical stats, right? But the thing about a defensive mid is that a defensive mid really, really needs good defensive stats. And his defensive stats are 82 interceptions, which is decent. Not that great, but decent. His heading is 75, marking is 74, sliding tackle is 78, and sliding tackle is 76. So if you want to have fun with the card, he will be very, very fun to use. 75 composure with 74 finishing isn't terrible, considering that the only position you would probably use him in is a CDM for fun, right? I wouldn't recommend using him in an actual team because he's just going to be that type of card that's going to miss for you consistently, whereas you can have a better player in that position that can finish better. Or, again, actually, if you think about it, it's actually not terrible. 74 finishing with 75 composure isn't actually bad at all because he's going to move pretty nicely considering he's a CDM, I would say. So definitely worth a shot to try out, but there is a chance that he might be really poor, but he's a try-out type of card. I got Deku Lol, might just put him into the Bergkamp SBC for the 100k pack. Yeah, dude, if you get like poor legends and you guys are the type of people that like to put it into prime cards, it's actually good that you get these types of legends no matter what, because like for me, for instance, like when I did it on my Xbox account, I only had to spend like 150k to get the Haji card because I already had cards already just chilling in my club, and then when I got my Foot Champs rewards, I got like the informs and stuff, and when I got those informs, I traded in towards the SBC, and then I got all these really cool cards. So yeah, man, even if you don't get a very good player, you can still save up and trade towards primes, which in all fairness is still very expensive, but very situational, right? What do you think about PTG Alexandro for CDM? PTG Alexandro for a CDM. I don't know, man. Alexandro, like, first of all, he's high work rates, right? So if you're using him as a CDM, you have to be careful with that. Second of all, dribbling-wise, he was very odd, although the PTG does have an upgrade on the dribbling a little bit. So we're talking, let's see the agility and balance. So we're talking ones. So if you ever tried a rare gold Sandro there, and then you put that rare gold Sandro as a CDM, that's the best way for you to try it, because if you get a PTG Alexandro, this card is 300k right now on the Xbox and 280k on the PlayStation. So that's quite expensive. Try out the rare gold card as a CDM, see if he plays well there. I personally wouldn't use him there because something about his card just doesn't tell me he would make a good CDM. Like, I think I've tried it at one point and I just wasn't a huge fan of it, so I wouldn't recommend doing it. Let's see what else we got here. Love your content, man, but can you please tell me how to defend with Firmino or Salah or Sane from a center mid position? This is so annoying to see. FIFA 18 is so bad. You can't defend with those players, man. When you're using center mids, listen, if you're using players like Salah and stuff as center mids, you can do that. For the fun concept, you can 100% do that. But if you're doing that with general knowledge that you know that you don't have defensive stats on those players, they will never defend well for you, man. They'll be very good for you attacking-wise, but defensively, they will not do anything for you because they don't have defensive stats, which really sucks because at least have interceptions. You know what I'm saying? Like, when a player has at least 74 or 75 interceptions, they will at least intercept the ball that is a foot away from them. But when a player has like 60-something interceptions, which we all know for a fact if the ball is right in front of them, they will intercept, it's a little bit annoying, right? So it is what it is. It's not really worth using players like Eriksen, David Silva, Bernard Silva, or whatever in those center mid positions because they do not have defensive stats, so they're not going to play that well. Eriksen, some people like to have fun with him, but no matter what anyone tells you, they're not meta. They're not going to be the type of player that you want to use in the midfield role because they just don't have any defensive stats, right? What do you think of Birthday Koyate and Marcus Alonso in form? So the Koyate one I already answered, but the Alonso one I'm willing to look at. Are you asking for a left back in general with Alonso? If they are worth a lot of content, hello from Mexico. So as a left back, yeah, Alonso's decent. His pace isn't the greatest. The acceleration is more important than anything. Here's the problem with Alonso, right? He's a fun card to use, but 76 acceleration with 71 agility and 61 balance is going to screw you over because the thing about people's teams nowadays is that they all have speed demons who are either physical or they just have the pace and the dribbling to get past those type of players, right? So be careful with that because turning wise, he's going to turn like a truck. And when someone like Messi is attacking against you with that really quick dribbling, he's gonna outrun you more often than not against an Alonso, especially with that 76 acceleration. Because acceleration is really, really important for a fullback so that just in case someone passes you, you turn and accelerate instantly with good sprint speed. So that's what I would say in terms of Alonso. But Koyate, again, trying out type of player. I wouldn't necessarily recommend you using him too much. What do you think of Mohamed Salah in real football this year? Dude, Salah is an absolute monster. Like, he's definitely a world-class player at this point, right? He's just been absolutely destroying people. What he did the other day, man, was absolutely insane. There was a goal that he was trying to pass to Danny Ings to try to, like, you could just tell that this guy is just sick. He's just a sick human being, okay? He tries to give the pass off to Danny Ings to get a goal for him. Danny Ings gets super unlucky, does really well actually, and then Salah, trying to give them an assist, ends up getting the ball back to his foot and just scores, man. But he's really, really awesome in real life right now. He's just been killing it, man. It's so much fun watching him play nowadays, especially since I'm a Liverpool fan and I came from the Brendan Rodgers era of just kicking and running it to freaking Benteke. It's great to see Salah playing proper football. Not even Salah, the whole team is just playing really well now. And I will say credit to Jordan Henderson because he's been doing a lot better recently, and that's great to see because he's always received so much slack from supporters, and he's just been improving, and just been a really, really good player recently. So it's great to see for sure. What are my thoughts on the Kolasinac foot birthday card? Kolasinac foot birthday card. I actually remember his card because I think his card is a center back card. Yeah, so he has 82 pace, which is nice. He has 76 acceleration with an 86 sprint speed. Great. 6 foot tall, which isn't bad. Medium high isn't bad. Now the 6 foot tall part is a problem because his jumping is 77 with 86 heading. So it could present to be a problem a little bit. I wouldn't say too much. Excuse me. Interceptions wise, 74 is a little bit low. Other than that, his standing tackles and his sliding tackles are very good. So definitely worth trying out in this game. It's actually really funny because Kolasinac has 92 shot power, but his finishing is 47. I don't know why he has 47 finishing because let's be honest, he scored some decent goals to at least deserve a 60 finishing. And 74 composure. 74 composure is better for the defensive part than it is the attacking part, but he looks like an okay card in my opinion. Let's see what else we have going on here. Just a couple of the questions of the Crespos and stuff. Some of the questions that I don't answer in the comment section from the YouTube videos is because I just don't feel like I feel like I've already answered it too many times. So then when people say like, oh, I don't know why he's ignoring my question, I'm not ignoring it. I've just already answered it. So it's like answering it over and over again for the people who consistently watch the content. It just doesn't really make much sense to do. But so far, guys, Foot Birthday has been incredible, man. It's great to see so much good content. And I'm not going to get into the gameplay part. I will heavily give EA credit for what they did with the Foot Birthday, because Foot Birthday is incredible. And that type of content is what we need to see in the game in general. Because if you play drafts aren't really worth it in general, because I'm pretty sure they made the rewards worse, in all honesty, because you only get rare gold packs nowadays, and that used to be like, oh, once in a while, but now you just always get it. And then but the SBCs are really, really cool, man. The baby icon SBC is really addicting to do, and I love that that's in the game. It's really, really fun to do. But EA knocked it out of the park with this promo. It's really, really good gameplay wise, people who spent money wise. Like that's the thing I always mention, because I know that EA is a business, and I know that as a business they need to make money, but you need to create a good balance between giving your gameplay guys some fun. I would love if they remove FUT Champs and just spread out the content very nicely. But that, and allowing people who spend the money on the game to get the stuff quicker and all that stuff too. It's a good balance, right? Because I understand as a company they need to make their money, but it was great. It's great to see. But that is going to conclude it for the video today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you guys did, please drop a thumbs up on it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.